Recently, we built a gaming PC for $430. We ended up using the iGPU in the 5600G. In today's video, I'm going to show you a couple options for adding in and upgrading a graphics card, how much it'll cost, and what performance gains you'll see. Today, we are testing three cards at 1080p, the RX 580 8GB version, the RX 6600, and the RX 6800. These cards should provide a good example of what you can get for the below $100, the $300 and the $500 price ranges. You can pick up the RX 580 8GB used on eBay for $75 to $85 pretty consistently right now. You may even be able to find a local deal for less than that if you're patient. I started off with PUBG on the RX 580 at medium settings and ended up averaging 131 frames per second with 1% lows of 49. That's a 74.6 increase in average frame rates over what the iGPU gave us. Rocket League's average frames per second increased 140% to 180 frames per second on average, and 1% lows were at 77. Moving on to an older AAA title, Shadow of the Tomb Raider at high settings increased to an average frames per second of 73. That's a 121% improvement in average FPS. 1% lows stayed above 60 frames per second, coming in at 63. Red Dead Redemption 2 at balanced presets got 58 frames per second on average and 1% lows of 47. We were able to move up from low graphic settings and get a much more playable experience. If you really wanted to average 60 frames per second, you could turn down some settings. Finally, Modern Warfare 2 was able to move up to 72 frames per second average from the iGPU's 53 FPS average. 1% lows did drop a little bit down to 30. I'm not really sure why that happened, so if anyone's got an idea, let me know in the comments. Overall, the $80 spent to upgrade to the RX 580 8GB model saw huge performance gains and was money well spent in my opinion. Now moving on to the RX 6600. I used the XFX Speedster SWFT 210 RX 6600, which you can pick up new for $279. With PUBG, the 6600 got an average of 134 frames per second. Not much better than the 580's average, and its 1% lows were worse at 43, but it's still a lot better than the original iGPU. We did see an increase in performance in Rocket League though. The 6600 came in at 237 FPS average. That's 31.7% better than the RX 580, and an incredible 295% better than the iGPU. The 6600 also outperformed the RX 580 in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Average frames per second at high settings moved up to 85. In Red Dead Redemption 2, I had a glitch where the game was resetting my monitor's refresh rate to be capped at 60 FPS whenever I launched the game with the 6600 installed, and I couldn't get it to stop, but the 6600 was able to hit that 60 FPS average and 1% lows of 49. I'm not sure what happened in Modern Warfare 2, but the 6600 got an average of 67 FPS with 1% lows of 11. I don't think this is an accurate result, as I've seen other benchmarks for this card come in with an average frame rate of 107 and 1% lows of 82, which is much better than what we got. So I'm not sure if it was a glitch with the game or the drivers maybe. If you have any ideas, love to hear them. Jumping up to the $500 price range, I went with the PowerColor Red Dragon 6800. But you can pick up their fighter model on Amazon for $500 or the XFX Speedster SWFT 319 for $530 at the time of recording. In PUBG, the RX 6800 was able to pump out 169 frames per second on average at high settings with 1% lows of 87. Rocket League maxed out my monitor's refresh rate with an average FPS of 240. The RX 6800 absolutely destroyed the RX 6600 in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Average FPS came in at 166, while the 6600 was at 85. 1% lows came in at 77. Red Dead Redemption 2 saw an average of 87 frames per second and 1% lows of 63. Modern Warfare 2 came in at 129 frames per second on average with 1% lows of 73 at the recommended graphic settings. At any budget level, you'll see significant improvements over the iGPU the 5600G comes with. I'm interested in knowing which card you would put in this PC and why. Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to check out the video where I actually put this PC together.